Good evening, everybody. I'm Master Police Officer Brooke with the Bedford Police Department. Today's the 28th of June, 2022. This is the Town Hall Community Meeting. After we go over the call types and trends, the guest speaker for tonight is going to be Chief Lewis. I'm sure everybody's been anxiously awaiting an opportunity to meet Chief Lewis, so tonight will be an opportunity. All right, as far as calls that I've been tracking since the beginning of the year, all the indicators are either trending up or with very little change. Significantly, our animal calls are up from 25, 26 over the last 2 months to 39. I would attribute that to the significantly warmer weather we're experiencing, and just based on a casual survey, I don't expect those numbers to trend downward. If anything, they'll either remain the same or up for this month. Fortunately, there was one DUI, but I'm not going to say 1 over 0 is enough to make a change in the arrow. Larcenies are up. Traffic stops are up. Vehicle accidents are up, and mental health remains high, even though I indicated there was no significant change from 19 to 20. All right. Now that everybody's had an opportunity to see the calls, I'm going to ask Chief Lewis to come up and share some thoughts with you. And after Chief Lewis, I'll come back and talk about upcoming events at the police department. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
All right, thank you, Master Police Officer Brooke. Tim has done a great job with our department. He is what embodies a community engagement officer in the department. We have people who are dedicated, who have passion to be out and do the things that we need to do to make those partnerships in the community worthwhile and make them long-lasting. So what I wanted to quickly go over this evening is sort of my community policing strategy, and it pretty much relies on 3 focus areas. The first focus area is going to be organizational transformation. Second is community partnerships, and third is, which I think is the most important, is shared problem solving. So let's quickly go over what my vision of organizational transformation is. What we have to do as a community, and I have to do as a chief, is make sure that we're giving our officers the ability to consistently go out and engage the community. And some of the challenges that we're having now is having the time, the resources, and the staffing to continuously go out and have officers effectively understand the community concerns and needs, and to create those more frequent contacts between the officers and the community. We have a lot of challenges right now with certain calls that take a lot of time, and one of the calls that Master Police Officer Brooke brought up is our mental health calls. And for the month we've had 20. Now 20 seems like a low number, but if you look at it this way, in each mental health call we go on, officers could be at the hospital from 8 hours up to 3 days or 72 hours or even longer. So when we do have certain calls, if you've seen on the screen, each call can take an officer hours or days to do, which deplenishes our staffing. Also, even something as simple as traffic stops that a number of years ago used to be a quick turnover. Now with certain changes in the law, it takes officers longer to complete the summons and also the paperwork that they have to do after the call. The second that we're looking at is building those community partnerships. So what we're talking about is partnerships that are consistently going over time, not the once-a-month meetings or the quarterly meetings that we normally have, but partnerships that we can have that are ongoing communication about things that we're all are looking at in the community and ways to continue that partnership. So the way I look at that is, if you have a partner, then that's a consistent, everyday communication. So we're working on now as a department building systems that's going to help those communications stay consistent. instead of just relying on one meeting a month where we talk about concerns and opportunities, to have that consistently throughout the day. And the third, which I think is the most important, is that shared problem solving. That means that police and the community have the ability to work on these problems, and each person, each entity has that same skin in the game. So on our end, what we're looking at now, we're doing is continuously training officers to try to be creative and focus on active problem solving, being proactive, and also by being proactive, working with our community members in that same fashion where we can encourage and engage community members where we're all being proactive and not just be taking crime reports or responding to disorder, but being proactively solving these problems where certain crimes and certain issues with disorder will not come up. Part of the method that I love that we're going to be using throughout the course of the next 6 months as we continuously establish our programs in the department is the SARA modeling method. It's S-A-R-A. The S stands for scanning, A is analysis, R is response, and the A is for assessment, and that's that reassessment. So what that model stands for is for us as police in the community to identify problems and have the ability as the community to scan and say, okay, well, this is a problem, and for us together to get together and assess these problems. That means coming up with different solutions for the problems that we see in the community. And that R stands for response, a coordinated response between police and the community. After that response, we'll be able to look at, say, we have an issue at a park. So as police, we would engage the community and say, okay, why are we having these issues at the park? And after we assess it, come up with a plan, we all together respond to it. After we've initially handled the problem, we always have to reassess and make sure that we've taken care of the problem, and not only taken care of the problem, but come up with steps, future steps that we know that can consistently keep that problem away. So those are some of the things that we're looking at to address solutions, not in just a short time, but long time order. So it's going to take us a little bit to get our feet on the ground as far as making sure that we can do these changes, but those are some of the things that we're working on. And we're actually doing that now, trying to work towards these problems. And some of the things that we're doing now is we're starting to upgrade our communication and technology systems. So part of the plan is making sure that we're effectively communicating internally. And once we can continuously effectively communicate internally, then we can start pushing that out to the community to then continuously better our communication with the community. I think we're doing a good job of that now, but we've got a lot of room and for improvement. Also, in the next few weeks, we're going to be sending out proactive post-officer surveys. So on certain calls, which we'll send out in PSA in the next couple of weeks that we go on, officers you will have an opportunity to fill out a post survey where a third-party company will send you a survey. The officers will let you know that, hey, after this call, you may get a survey from a third-party company. It's a 30-second survey that you can do on your phone. For people who do not have a cell phone, officers will be able to hand out a card that you can either call a number or get on the computer and type in that survey. So that's one of the things some of the things that we're looking at, and we're also looking at developing groups that we can speak with on a regular basis. And I call these groups problem-solving groups. So when we start putting these groups together in the next 5 or 6 months, we're going to be looking for people who are about problem-solving and action-oriented. We have enough people that we talk about the problem, but the people that I'm going to look forward to work with me and work with our police department are going to be action-oriented, problem-solving people. So we can make sure that if we come up with an action plan, then we're going to have the means to complete that action plan. So that's what I wanted to go over today. Is just my quick community policing strategy. As you can see, this is my first month of being here, so we have a lot of work to do. But I will say that I am proud to be the chief here in Bedford. I'm proud to work with great people that we have, like Officer Brooke. We have a number of great officers out there, a number of great supervisors, and a number of great leaders in our town and our council. So At this time, I will turn it over to Officer Brooke. Thank you for giving me your time.
Thank you for coming, Chief. All right, we've knocked out the first three things on the agenda. So upcoming events, Cop Camp, the 5th through the 8th of July. I believe registration closed on the last day of May. However, if you or your organization own a bus or a van and are willing to let the police department use it to transport kids up to the parkway for the Thomas Road Outpost, please contact Connie Tuck at 587-6011. We are still in need of vehicles for Cop Camp, and July 5th is coming up soon. All right, no town meeting in during the month of July. We should be back on for the 4th Tuesday at 5:30 in the month of August. Stay tuned to our Facebook to stay abreast of our town meetings. National Night Out, subject near and dear to my heart. We are still in execution mode. We're going to execution mode for National Night Out. The park's going to close. Liberty Lake Park will close at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Vendors, participants will be invited to set up at 5 o'clock. The event will run from 6 to 10. Significantly, and if you're in the room with me, I'd stomp my foot right now. Significantly, we have contracted with the Otterbus to run from 5:30 to 11 o'clock. Otterbus is going to pick up at Walmart. It's going to pick up at Elba's. It's going to pick up at Westgate, Blue Ridge Avenue near Raintree, Salem Court Apartments, and deliver people to Liberty Lake Park. Please, I'm anticipating a really good turnout. Please use the Otterbus to avoid traffic congestion. Also stay tuned to our Facebook for any significant changes to National Night Out, if there are any changes during the month of July. Centerfest is scheduled for Saturday, September the 24th. And I'm not sure on the time, so that's why I didn't put any times down, but September the 24th. And those are all the upcoming events that I wish to share this evening. I want to wish everybody a peaceful night and a good evening. Thank you very much for your time and kind attention.